Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Coping with Life, Disabled and Mentally Ill. I am your host, Scott. It's Saturday. Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope wherever you are, you're feeling a little bit of peace and calm in the midst of life and ups and downs. But if you're not, that's okay too. You're not alone, and that's what we're here for. Today, we're diving into a topic that's a big part of my own life. It's something that I know affects many of us. We're talking about anger. It is something we all feel, but when you're living with disabilities and mental health challenges like depression, processing and expressing anger can be a whole different experience. If you're like me, you might find it really difficult to express how you're feeling when anger takes hold. Maybe you don't have the words, or maybe your emotions feel overwhelming and hard to manage. It is easy to feel lost and trapped when that happens. But today, I want to share some advice and strategies that I've found helpful in processing and coping with anger, especially for those of us with disabilities who struggle with communication or just have trouble navigating our feelings. So let's understand anger. So let's start by talking about what anger actually is. Anger is a natural emotional response often triggered when we feel threatened, mistreated, or helpless. It can show up in many forms: irritation, frustration, or even rage. For many of us with disabilities, anger might stem from feeling misunderstood or not being able to express our needs or desires clearly. When you're dealing with depression or other mental health challenges, anger might also come from feeling like you're constantly fighting an uphill battle. It's just not about external things. Sometimes it is the frustration of battling with your own mind, your own body, and your own inability to communicate how much pain you're really in. That internal frustration can fuel a lot of anger. And with that just adding and all that pressure, it's really hard to hold sometimes. And being able to communicate that is really, really hard. So how do we process that anger when it comes up? First off, acknowledge it. I know this sounds simple, but sometimes it's easy to push anger down or pretend it's not there because we don't want to deal with it. But the truth is, anger isn't going anywhere just because we ignore it. When you feel that heat of frustration bubbling up, stop and recognize it. Acknowledge the anger without guilt. Sometimes we might feel guilty for being angry, like it's something we shouldn't feel, or bad emotion. But anger is not inherently bad. It's a signal that something is off, something needs attention. For many of us with disabilities, anger can sometimes be the only way we feel we can make our needs known, especially if verbal communication is difficult, or if others around us don't understand what we're going through. Here's a few strategies, ideas that have helped me cope with anger and stuff that I deal with. And I think it might help you or people that you know that may need help. Take a moment to breathe. When anger flares up, try to step back for a moment. Take a deep breath. It may sound cliche, but slowing your breathing helps to bring your mind and body back into balance. It gives you a chance to pause and think before reacting. It's okay if you're not in a space where you can sit calmly for 5 minutes. Just a few deep breaths can help you regain control. The next one is, if you know anything about me, I like writing. I like processing things. So this one might help. It's called, journaling or expressive writing, which I'm very, very good at. For those who struggle with verbalizing feelings, writing can be a powerful tool. If you can't speak your mind, write it down. It doesn't have to make sense or follow any rules. Just let it flow. Writing down your anger gives you a way to release it without needing to explain yourself to anyone. And if you're unable to write, consider using voice memos or text-to-speech to get your thoughts out. There's many ways to try and safely get your anger out or get back to calmness. And sometimes physical movement. Sometimes when our minds are overwhelmed, we need to move our bodies to help release that pent-up energy. Even a simple walk, stretch, or any form of gentle exercise can help ease the tension that comes with anger. Movement helps to regulate your emotions by releasing endorphins and calming your nervous system. And if verbalizing your feelings is difficult, sometimes using visual clues or sensory tools can help. For example, if you have an emotional support object or fidget tool, having it with you in times of stress can help ground you. This gives your brain something to focus on and can help calm your body with anger is overwhelming, and visual and sensory tools are very needed. I know for me personally. And that goes a long ways. And, how do you communicate your anger? So I want to touch on a big challenge many of us faces, communicating our anger. It can be tough, especially if you have trouble expressing emotions, or if others just don't understand where you're coming from. But here's the thing. You deserve to be heard. A great way to start communicating your feelings is by using nonverbal methods. When words are hard, art, music, or even body language can all convey emotions effectively if speaking is difficult. And if you know me, words are hard. You can also try using other tools to help with that communication. And they can be a good bridge to help express your feelings and the outside world. And it's okay to set boundaries. If you're in a situation that's making you angry and you can't process it right away, let the people around you that you need space. It's okay to say, I'm not able to talk right now, but I need a moment. Setting those boundaries is a form of self-care and shows respect for your own mental health. And it is okay to be, quote-unquote, selfish or me-centric for you processing what you need to. It is not okay to lash out on people because it's not their fault that you are angry, which is really hard sometimes when I feel the anger. I'm a very positive person, but sometimes, anger happens. To wrap things up today, I want to remind you, anger doesn't make you bad. Anger is a human emotion, and when we understand it, we can learn to work with it rather than letting it take control. Processing anger as someone living with disabilities and mental health challenges can feel isolating. But trust me, you are not alone in this. There are ways to cope to express and manage these emotions in healthy, constructive ways. Remember, it is okay to have the words. It's okay to need help. Whether it's journaling, using sensory tools, or finding other outlets, give yourself space to feel and process. And most importantly, be kind to yourself along the way. That's all for today's episode. I hope you have found some of these insights helpful. Please feel free to share your thoughts with me and what helps you cope with anger or what challenges you face you're dealing with. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. Love the people in your life. You know, it means the world to me that you're here. And I have issues with expressing anger, and I've been wanting to do a much better version of previous episodes that touch anger, and I've been working really hard to help convey, because it's really hard, and being disabled mental health person it's tough, and together we're navigating it one step at a time, and it's really hard to convey words, because I try really hard to be positive, to be happy, and I'm not perfect. I have feelings, and sometimes when those feelings aren't met, I can get a little heated, and find a way to release that in a safe way. And lashing out at somebody is not okay, because it may be in your mind. What is getting you angry may not actually be real. I'll give you a silly thing. So, let's say you are putting on socks. You put one on, you put one right next to you, but you get up and you do something, and you come back, and then you're getting mad because you can't find your other sock. But you may be actually sitting on it, but you're getting all angry, and it's okay. That's nobody's fault, and just take things one step at a time. And I really wanted to find a good way to put words, because I want to help other people in the world to help deal with anger, because it's hard. And if you're struggling with ways to communicate anger, hopefully this can help. And if other people who are dealing, maybe this can help, because I'm not perfect. I try to be, but I'm not good with words, and it all takes time. And the biggest thing is take a moment to breathe and try and refocus your brain and, try and handle things more responsibly. So, love yourself. Love the people in your life. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. I don't know what next week will bring. And until then, I love you all. And I bid you all adieu.